Marco Rubio slammed the numbers down and said, "Explain this, Jeffries." What happened next? No one saw coming. He tried to corner Jeffries live. What Jeffries said next stunned the entire chamber. Before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Because when one senator corners another on live television, the fallout isn't always what you expect. The lights of the Economic Policy Forum were bright, but what happened under them was blinding. Senator Marco Rubio stood at the podium, gripping the edge like it might snap off. The air was tense, humid with anticipation. "Hakeem Jeffries," he said, voice sharp. "You keep talking about equity and opportunity, but what you never explain is this." He raised a printed chart above his head. "Why is your urban development plan failing in your own districts?" The room froze. Aides looked around. Even moderators sat still. Jeffries remained seated, calm, still, silent. But something flickered in his eyes. Rubio pressed on. "Millions in spending, zero progress. So tell us, where is the actual change?" A law student whispered, "This is gonna be bad." Jeffries stood. No papers, no folder, no defense, just eye contact. Then, quietly, "Senator Rubio, if you're ready to talk numbers, I'd be happy to go first." Gasps. Someone in the back coughed. Rubio squinted. Jeffries walked toward the second podium, slow, controlled, like someone who had been waiting for this exact moment. But what data was Jeffries hiding? And would it be enough to turn the entire room around? Jeffries stood at the second podium. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't wave charts. He just tapped the mic once. Clear. Clean. "Senator Rubio," he began, "I've reviewed the same data, but here's what you didn't include." He turned toward the screen behind him. A map of Brooklyn appeared, marked with heat signatures. "Your numbers only cover 18 months. Our programs span 36. The audience leaned in. Tap. New slide. "Increase in high school graduation rates. Expansion of minority-owned small businesses. 26% drop in unemployment in targeted zip codes." Rubio blinked. Jeffries glanced over. "You chose a snapshot. I'm giving you the whole film." Applause. Not loud, but sharp and respectful. A journalist typed rapidly. "Jeffries flips Rubio's data attack. Live." Jeffries continued, voice steady. "You asked where the progress is. It's walking to school every morning. It's paying rent on time. It's not always on your spreadsheet, Senator." Rubio crossed his arms. For the first time, no words. But Jeffries wasn't finished. He stepped forward slightly. "And if you'd stayed past the first page of the report." The room went silent. Even the moderator leaned in. What else would Marco have seen? And was he ready to admit it on live TV? For a man known for quick rebuttals, Senator Marco Rubio suddenly had nothing. He stood, staring at the data projected on the screen. Jeffries' voice still echoed in the air. "If you'd stayed past the first page." Rubio's jaw flexed. A nearby camera zoomed in, waiting for movement, a retort, even a smirk. But none came. Instead, he took a slow breath and adjusted his mic. "I wasn't aware of those additional figures," he said quietly. "They weren't in the briefing packet." Jeffries didn't gloat. He simply nodded. "That's why I brought the full report." He placed a thick binder on the table between them. The pages tabbed, bookmarked, highlighted. The room exhaled. A college student whispered, "He just gave him the whole playbook." The moderator leaned in. "Senator Rubio, would you like to respond?" Rubio looked at the binder, then at Jeffries. then back at the crowd. A pause. Then, calmly, "I'll review it." A murmur, stunned, not hostile. Some called it a retreat. Others called it maturity. Jeffries returned to his seat. The screen behind him faded to black. But something lingered in Rubio's expression, something unsettled. Was this the beginning of a shift, or the quiet before he came back swinging even harder? 2 hours after the debate, in a quiet side room of the Capitol building, fluorescent lights hummed low. Marco Rubio entered first, tie loosened, folder in hand. Hakeem Jeffries was already there, sipping lukewarm coffee, scrolling through his phone. No cameras, no staff, just the two of them. Rubio sat across from him. "Look," he said, breaking the silence, "I don't agree with your approach, but I can't ignore your outcomes." Jeffries set his phone down, finally meeting his eyes. "You don't have to agree. You just have to listen long enough to see the full picture." Rubio slid a sheet of paper across the table. His own notes. "You ever considered scaling your model to red districts?" Jeffries raised an eyebrow. "Are you offering territory or a trap?" Rubio smirked, the first real expression since the debate. "Depends who's writing the rules." A long pause. Then Jeffries leaned in. "What if we wrote them together?" The hum of the overhead lights deepened. Outside, reporters still waited for headlines. But in here, something unexpected was taking root. Rubio stood. "Let me bring it to committee." Quietly. Jeffries nodded. "Quiet works. For now." But would this off-the-record exchange stay in the shadows, or be the first draft of a public breakthrough no one saw coming? The next morning, the House Economic Committee was packed. Everyone expected routine post-debate spin. No one expected what Marco Rubio said next. "I want to begin," he said, standing at the podium, "by acknowledging that Congressman Jeffries' data was accurate and worth serious committee review." The room shifted. Eyes darted between staffers. Phones came up. Tweets flew. Jeffries sat quietly 3 rows back, arms crossed, expression unreadable. Rubio continued, flipping a single page of his own notes. "His framework has potential, especially if adjusted to work across multiple economic zones, rural and urban." A Republican aide mouthed, "Is he flipping sides?" A liberal blogger typed, "Rubio? Soft endorses Jeffries?" The committee chair cleared her throat. "Do you intend to propose a joint review process?" Rubio paused, then, "Yes, quietly at first, broadly if it holds." Jeffries didn't speak, didn't clap, just nodded once, as if this was step 1 in a long game. Later, in the hallway, reporters swarmed. "Congressman Jeffries, were you expecting Rubio's pivot?" He smiled faintly. "Let's just say, some things grow in the dark before they bloom in the light." Back inside, the committee passed a motion, Joint Exploratory Review 17-3. But was this a moment of rare bipartisanship, or just the calm before political winds shifted again? 6 months later, no press, no podiums, no firestorms, just a modest community tech hub in Columbus, Ohio, funded through a bipartisan development grant first proposed during that committee meeting. 2 names engraved on the wall plaque: Rubio and Jeffries Collaborative Grant. A group of teens tinkered with robotics kits nearby. A young girl held up a soldering iron and asked, "Is this from Washington?" The teacher smiled. "Kind of." Later that week, on a podcast neither man promoted, the host asked, "Was that one night on the committee floor a turning point?" Jeffries responded, "No, it was a test." Rubio added, "And tests don't define you. How you respond to them does. No sound bites, no thunder, just clarity. Some pundits dismissed the moment as small, but in the districts that mattered, new businesses opened, school partnerships expanded, civic trust ticked slightly higher. In a rare televised interview, both men sat side by side, no ties, just open collars and tired eyes. "We didn't change the world," Rubio admitted. "But we proved the world can change," Jeffries finished. "Now it's your turn. When the shouting fades, will you help build what's left behind?" Drop your answer in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe if you believe dialogue still has power in a divided world.